Hey, what's going on, everyone? So today we're going to be talking about a Necro minion build that I've been using. It's like an AoE shadow damage minion build. We're going to get right into it. I'm not going to waste too much of your time. I know a lot of you guys want to just get the build, get back to the game and play. So we'll just get right into it. So first off, I'm going to put a link in the description from D4 builds of the actual build if you want to look at it from the website, whether you want to track it on there. But I'm going to show you on here. So these are going to be the abilities that I'm using. And starting from the top, we're going to have Reap. You're going to go into Reap, you're going to come down, you're going to go straight into Blight, and you're going to take it all the way so that your minions do more damage to Blight. And you're going to put as much as you can in that. We're going to be taking this passive, Hued Flesh, but obviously get your main abilities first before you start pouring into passives. We're going to go down here, we're going to take Corpse Explosion, and then we're going to go all the way over to Blighted Corpse Explosion, because we want that AoE. We're going to take Grim Harvest and Fueled by Death just to get more DPS for all the corpses we're consuming. And we're always going to be trying to increase the damage of our minions as we go. Go down, we'll do Skeletal Mage, and then we'll do Death's Reach, because for the most part in this build, your minions are going to be out in front, and you're going to be distant from the target, so you're going to want to be able to do more damage to distance enemies. And we also have Corpse Tendrils, and we have all the way over to Terror. We have Gloom and Reaper's Pursuit. We just need to take one in there just to get over there. And we have Necrotic Carapace. So this one is to give us more Fortify. So when you consume a corpse, you fortify yourself. And there's different things you could do with Fortify. I'm on a hardcore character, so I play Diablo 4 in hardcore mode, which means I only have one life. This build works very well for it, but there are some things in this build you can switch out, like taking Fortify off or switching out your Golem, like we're using a Blood Golem, which I'll show here in the Book of the Dead in a second. But there's different things you could do. I go for more survivability just because I'm trying to keep my character alive. We have Golem Mastery just for more life and damage. Inspiring Leader. Your minions have attack speed. And then your minions cannot lose more than 30% of their maximum life from a single damage instance. This is good for hard-hitting AoEs. Your minions aren't all just going to get nuked. They can only get nuked for 30% of their health if like a boss or someone does like a huge amount of damage on them. And then we're going to come down here. We're going to take Shadow Blight. Shadow Blight's just amazing for any type of shadow damage in this game right now. It's nuts. It helps it stack up, and you're just going to want to take that. And we're not taking any ultimates with this build, so you're not going to have to worry about any of those cooldown stuff. It's just a constant rotation. This is the only cooldown you're going to have to worry about is Corpse Tendrils. I'm going to hop over to Book of the Dead. We have Skeletal Warriors. I took the Reapers, and we Reapers have a 15% chance to carve the flesh off an enemy forming a corpse. We need as many corpses as possible, so this is just amazing for it. And then the next one is going to be Skeletal Mages. We take the Cold, and then we take the first one. This is going to give us essence from our mages, so as long as they keep attacking, they're going to keep giving us essence that we can use to spend on our Blight. For Golem, this one's different. For me, I've been taking the Blood Golem, and I've been taking the 15% of damage it takes from me when I take damage. So this helps me save me from different types of, like, a bunch of explosions that stack or some type of damage that I forgot to get out of the way of. But if you were to switch this out, I would probably take either the Golem Slam, because it makes them vulnerable for 3 seconds, or you could switch this to the Bone Golem. So it'll shed a corpse when it takes 20% of its maximum life as damage if you want more corpses. We're not doing Thorns, so you could do this, but the thing with the Bone Golem is it has a taunt ability, so you can actually command your Golem to go in taunt and pull all the enemies in that to start attacking him, so it helps you group up more along with your Tendrils if you are having problem with your pulls. But for the most part, Tendrils is going to be your main pull option. But I mean, he'll taunt, but he can't taunt range. So, I mean, he can, but when he taunts ranged in the game, they're just going to look at him and start shooting, so they're not going to get pulled in like Tendrils would. But the Iron Golem can help make things vulnerable more often, and this is really good for your damage. Okay, so this is the setup that I have, and I'm just going to go over a lot of the aspects that I have as well as the unique that I found. There are other uniques that you can have to this build that make it a lot more, it just makes it amazing. There's a one-handed unique that I actually took a second here. It's called Black River, and it's pretty good for this build if you are to use it. Corpse Explosion consumes up to 4 additional corpses around you, the initial corpse, dealing X% increased damage with an X% larger radius per corpse. This one is amazing. I recommend looking for that for this build and then getting a good offhand. But right now what I have is been pretty optimal. I've been clearing on World Tier 3 no problem, been absolutely shredding, and I actually did my capstone for World Tier 4 to get unlocked, which is a level 70 dungeon. I was 62 at the time. I had to be kind of careful with the pulls, but I could clump the enemies and take them down pretty efficiently with this build. So you can clear the capstone dungeon using this build, and I'm going to finalize this build and take it all the way down to level 100 with the minions and everything. So a lot of people are saying the minions aren't viable. I think here the minions with their corpses, their essence, as well as the bone golem taking damage or taunting is just absolutely amazing for the build. So for here, I have the imprinted aspect. Every 10 seconds your cold skeleton mages cast a blizzard. This one's just extra damage. It's nice. Damaging an elite enemy grants you a barrier. This is really good for survivability. This is one that I imprinted on myself. I had to take an aspect and imprint it. This is a unique, so you're actually going to have to find this one, but this one is amazing for the build. It's actually kind of a must-have. This one's really good to up the damage of your corpse explosions. So what it'll do is it'll summon a volatile skeleton that'll actually run at the target. So if you clump and you start summoning right there, it's just going to blow up on the spot. But it increases the damage of corpse explosion by 39%. So you gain increased armor when you deal any form of damage. This one's amazing for survivability. And as you can see, I've been putting blue gems and everything just to... I had the fortify and it increases my defense, so just for more survivability. Okay, this one's really good. Number of skeletal warriors by 2. There's also another one for number of mages by 2. If you want both of those in your build, I highly recommend them. I don't have a mage one. I'm still looking for one at the moment. This one is kind of a must-have for the build. There's 2 here that are a must-have for this build that you're going to look for. This one... You deal 212 increased damage for 6 seconds after the Shadow Blight key passive damages enemies 10 times. So that's going to be your, if we talk about this bottom one right down here, your key passive. Okay, so here I have the key passive, which is going to be the Shadow Blight. And this, essentially, it's going to be proccing during combat while you're putting all of your Shadow AoEs down from your Blight and your Corpse Explosion. And what this does is... You and your minions deal 10% bonus damage to enemies with Shadow Blight. Every 10th time an enemy receives shadow damage from you or your minions while they're affected by Shadow Blight, they take an additional 1000 damage. And what will happen with this is, with this, you deal a 212% increased damage for 6 seconds after the Shadow Blight key passive damaged enemies 10 times. So this will stack on top of that, doing another 212% damage. We then head over here. Each time the Shadow Blight key passive deals damage to enemies, it increases the next Shadow Blight's damage within 10 seconds by 42%, stacking up to 5 times. So what these both are doing is they're essentially snowballing together. So when you go to clump an enemy, and I'm going to show some clips at the end of this video if you do want to watch how the build works. It'll clump enemies together. You'll start putting all your AoEs down. They'll start dying slowly, especially the elites. And then out of nowhere, their health will just be constantly melted while you have these AoEs stacked in them. And that's because these two are snowballing together with your key passive. And it's just all of that AoE combined with the skeletons that are giving you more corpses every 15% when they hit. They drop a corpse. And your skeletal mages are giving you constant essence to keep casting your blight. So all of that snowballing together makes the build just absolutely nuke. And again, I'm going to be showing some more clips in the end of this video. So we have that, and then we have the abilities. I can go on to show you some of the Paragon board, and this is kind of the direction I took. I haven't been working on it too long, so it's... You know, this is just the direction I took, and then I took a glyph. This is the glyph that I took. If you're trying to figure out what glyph you want to take, obviously we find these in the open world, so depending on if you actually found it or not. And then going up, I did take this one, the Flesh Eater, for my first board. Consuming 5 corpses grants 40% increased damage for 6 seconds. Again, snowballing our overall DPS effect. And then for my next board, I took, with at least 2 corpses nearby, you gain 15% damage reduction. This was my survivability. With no corpses nearby, you deal 15% increased damage. I'm guessing if you're, like, this is my guess kind of with this, if you're a distance from the enemy, like if your minions go out and you let them nuke and you kind of push yourself away, they'll be counted as not being near you and you get 15% increased damage. I'm not 100% sure on that. But again, I took this for survivability because I'm playing a hardcore character. So if anyone are thinking about playing hardcore and you don't know if the Necromancer will work out, it's been working out really well for me. The clears have been fantastic right now on World Tier 3. No problem at all with this build. And when I went to World Tier 4, I was able to clump. I just gotta be a little bit safer, but I was able to clump and take them down pretty easily enough to get in there and farm slowly to start getting some of the different ancestrals that I'll need for the future end game of this build. That's going to be it for the video, guys. If you enjoyed, make sure to leave a like, comment, and maybe even subscribe to the channel. I'm going to be putting a couple minutes of footage on the end of this video so you guys can see some of the clears. But if whether you're doing softcore or hardcore, enjoy Diablo 4 and enjoy doing some minions with the Necromancer.